It's a humid midday of July 27, 1660. The clouds hang heavy on the horizon, indicating heavy rain. You are in a narrow gorge, finalizing a makeshift defensive barrier. The air is charged with tension and anticipation. Every single man near you wears the same expression of resolute determination. As the sounds of horses and men echo in the gorge, you glance at your men. They all know what they are up against, and none of them take a step back. An immovable wall against impossible odds. There is a distinct thrill of anticipation in you and your men as the first units of Adil Shahis come into view. You are Baji Prabhu, and this is Pavankind, a place where each rock will soon bear witness to the highest ideals in war: courage, resolve, and sacrifice. Hello and welcome to the second episode in the Sagas of Bharat podcast. In this episode, we continue to look at the life of Chhattrapati Shivaji Maharaj and the seesawing rise of the Maratha Empire. Here, twists of fate will meet the daring and inventiveness of a man determined to achieve his vision. Hopefully, the events here also serve as a parallel in your own life, and Shivaji Maharaj's inventiveness can inspire you to come up with your own unique solutions to your problems. After killing Afzal Khan in 1659, the Marathas quickly expanded outside Pune into nearby regions. The court of Bijapur was still in shock, but they also knew they had to do something before they lost more territory. Meanwhile, Aurangzeb was now the Mughal ruler after having killed his brothers either by treachery or war and imprisoning his own father. He never trusted Shivaji, despite Shivaji Maharaj claiming that he was a loyal servant of the Mughal Empire. Bijapur sent an Abyssinian general called Siddhi Jauhar to lay siege to Panhala. At around the same time in 1660, Aurangzeb sent his uncle Shaista Khan towards Pune to capture Shivaji. Out of these two, Siddhi Jauhar was definitely the more immediate problem for Shivaji, since he had surrounded Panhala before the rainy season. Shivaji Maharaj's central element of military strategy was to be on the constant move. This siege then must have been very frustrating to the other plans that he had laid out. What was worse, numerous brave attempts to break out of the siege had failed. Each time Marathas thought they had an opening, it was plugged overnight. In the past, most Bharatiya kings in this situation had always chosen the suicidal way out, a final battle culminating in either victory or death. But not Shivaji. Since he was focused on his vision, staying alive was crucial to achieving it. Finally, after weeks of search, his chief spy, Bahirji Nayak, found one road that was unguarded and led to the fort of Vishalgarh. Shivaji saw this as a golden opportunity, but also knew that if the enemy came to know about it, it will be lost in an instant. He decided to then take the way of deception. He sent out a message to Siddhi Jauhar asking to discuss terms of surrender. The plan was to send a decoy Shivaji to the meeting, while the real Shivaji took that unguarded path. Fate smiled in this, since they found a barber called Shiva Kashid who bore a striking resemblance to Shivaji Maharaj. As soon as Shiva Kashid left for the meeting, Shivaji Maharaj along with his chosen men dashed through the road to Vishalgarh. A Maratha company of 300 men under Baji Prabhu was tasked to hold off the pursuing Adil Shahis until Shivaji reached the fort. They defended the pass of Ghodkind, later called Pavankind in their honor, against 15,000 Adil Shahi forces, falling one by one but not giving an inch. Baji Prabhu himself fell, but only after hearing the cannon fire from Vishalgarh. At this stage, from the viewpoint of Adil Shahis, it became clear that they can never fully overcome Shivaji Maharaj. On the other hand, Shivaji Maharaj could not conquer Bijapur yet since he did not have the military strength to do so. Besides, after this escape, he had other pressing problems. A large force of Mughals under the command of Aurangzeb's uncle Shaista Khan had entered his domain and captured Pune. War was now brewing on two fronts, and Shivaji Maharaj knew he had to act decisively and fast. Shivaji Maharaj knew he could not hope to win a war on both fronts. He decided to offer the fort of Panhala to Adil Shahis, hoping to keep them off his back. Shaista Khan entered Pune sometime in 1660 and sent a letter to Shivaji in which he mocked him by comparing him to a monkey. Shivaji Maharaj replied by reminding him that in Hindu culture, monkeys are famous for destroying the house of evil people. Since he could not capture Shivaji in the rainy season, he settled in Rang Mahal, the childhood home of Shivaji Maharaj. As we shall see, this was a bad choice of stay. The Mughal army was used to fighting in the open plains of North Bharat. Here, there was very less cover and cavalry could be used effectively. The geography of Western Ghats is very different. Steep hills and ravines sneak up from unexpected angles. This made it very difficult for Mughals to anticipate a direction of attack. Additionally, Shivaji Maharaj's troop made life of Mughals difficult by constant hit-and-run attacks. Keeping them occupied like this, Shivaji Maharaj quickly expanded the Maratha Empire in the South Konkan region. Aside from military exploits, we also see Shivaji Maharaj's administrative uniqueness emerge as he controlled more territory. In fact, he was the first Bharatiya ruler to think of centralization as an administrative concept. Throughout his life, he fought hard against feudalism and worked to keep the power of feudal lords called Watandars under control. This was necessary since most of these Watandars were corrupt and had got rich on the back of poor farmers. Worse, they were quick to shift allegiances to whoever paid them more. The question of Mughals occupying his homeland must have been weighing on his mind. Even though the Mughal army was outclassed in his lands, Shivaji Maharaj knew they had vast reserves of reinforcements. On the other hand, Shivaji's army was small and mobile. It could harass the enemy but could not defeat. Thus, Shivaji Maharaj decided to do something dramatic and unconventional. He would directly attack the seat of Mughal power in the Deccan. No, not the city of Pune, but the person occupying it at present, Shaista Khan himself. Sometime in April 1663, a group of Hindus in Mughal employ begged Shaista Khan to allow their friend's marriage procession to pass through the city gates next evening. In those days of Mughal occupation, it was forbidden for Hindus to go in and out of Pune due to the suspicion that they might be working for Shivaji Maharaj. However, an occupying force always needs to win the hearts of people, and in this case, Shaista Khan saw an easy pretext to buy the loyalty of Hindus in his employ. He gave his permission. The next evening, the marriage procession entered playing loud music with drums and trumpets. Soon after, some Mughal soldiers entered beating Maratha prisoners cruelly. The city guards allowed all of them to pass. Nothing was unusual. The marriage procession had permission, and some Mughal soldiers bringing captured Maratha prisoners in Pune was not suspicious. The marriage procession and the Mughal soldiers, along with their prisoners, made their way to Rang Mahal. There, the people of procession, the quote-unquote Mughal soldiers and their prisoners joined forces. Shivaji Maharaj was personally leading this operation and had entered the city by disguising himself as a drummer in the marriage procession. Now we can understand why Shaista Khan chose a bad place to stay. This was Shivaji's childhood home and he knew exactly where Shaista Khan would be sleeping. Working quickly, the Marathas broke through the kitchen wall and entered the main sleeping chamber. Shaista Khan escaped by reflexively jumping out of the window, but his thumb was cut off. His son was not so lucky. He was cut down just as he was rushing to defend his father. Amidst the confusion and chaos, the Marathas quickly mounted their horses and escaped. This raid on Shaista Khan led to the name of Shivaji Maharaj spread throughout Bharat. The Mughals were thought to be invincible. Even the bravest Hindu kings in the north had submitted to them. Here was a leader of rugged hillmen who had assaulted the representative of the Mughal emperor in his own bed. The European powers in Bharat were equally frightened and amazed. The Portuguese said it best. The question is still unsolved whether Shivaji substituted others for himself, or he is a magician or the devil. Even though it was never intended in that way, in my opinion, this event must have been a rekindling of hope in the hearts of many Hindus. Shaista Khan left Pune within a few weeks, frightened and often seen muttering incoherent things. He was dismissed from his post and sent to Bengal with instructions of not bringing his person in front of the emperor's eyes, meaning he was completely banished from the Mughal court. In December 1663, a beggar arrived in torn clothes and a begging bowl in the port city of Surat. This city was one of the richest cities in the entire Mughal Empire and was the principal port from which Muslims left for their pilgrimage to Mecca. It is said that the custom duty alone from here amounted to 1.2 million rupees annually. The city itself was built around a castle and divided into different quarters. These quarters were occupied by people belonging to different races, like there was a French quarter, English quarter, and so on. This beggar roamed the streets of the city, eating whatever was given to him and listening to people as they talked. Merchants from Portugal were especially scared since the rumors were that Shivaji was going to attack Goa and ransack the churches there. Towards the end of the year, this beggar disappeared. Sometime in January of next year, there came the rumor that Shivaji was on his way to Surat. It was dismissed by Inayat Khan, the then governor of Surat. 1 week after this rumor, Shivaji Maharaj suddenly appeared within 8 kilometers of Surat. He asked the wealthiest merchants of Surat to ransom themselves and he will leave peacefully. This was not a war expedition, it was a looting expedition. Inayat Khan bravely and quickly hid in his palace. He wouldn't even respond to letters sent by Shivaji Maharaj for amnesty and safe passage of citizens. When no word came back, Shivaji Maharaj gave the order for sacking. The Marathas carried out this task with great efficiency and systematically sacked various quarters. Only the English could organize some effective resistance. Shivaji was impressed by their courage and agreed to spare their goods from being sacked. The scale of this loot was immense, even when English goods were not there. It is estimated to be around 10 million rupees. In addition to the wealth, the Marathas carried off valuable gold, large pearls, great diamonds. We must keep in mind that this sack was not organized due to greed on the part of Shivaji Maharaj. Unlike other kings in Bharat who saw fit to order their soldiers to fight for them on very less salaries, Shivaji Maharaj knew that in order to keep the morale and loyalty, he needed to pay his men handsomely. Moreover, he knew he could attract the talent to help him expand his navy for more such operations. Inayat Khan only emerged after Shivaji had left. He saw a city in ruins, factories torched and houses burned. The city's inhabitants, mostly merchants, were frightened and in awe of the king who had so boldly attacked and looted them. Needless to say, Inayat Khan was soon summoned by Aurangzeb and dismissed from service. While Surat recovered from the raid, Shivaji Maharaj now attacked the Portuguese in Goa. He captured Kudal and for the first time tested his navy against a European power. So successful was this raid that Portuguese had no option but to sue for peace or risk losing Goa forever. Aurangzeb had had enough of Shivaji Maharaj's continuously growing power. Worse, his generals were proving to be utterly incompetent and ineffective against him. In the past, he had chosen mostly Muslims to represent him in the Deccan. For the first time, he had to turn to the services of a Hindu king in order to try and contain Shivaji Maharaj. This Hindu selected by Aurangzeb was Maharaja Jai Singh of Jaipur. Jai Singh reluctantly agreed to the assignment. The main reason was that he admired Shivaji Maharaj deeply for his feats of courage. But at the same time, he was also a Mughal loyalist. He felt that Shivaji would be a great asset to the empire and it would be better to gain his support rather than fight against the Mughals. Once he accepted the task, however, he began his preparations by carefully reviewing the mistakes of the previous generals against Shivaji Maharaj. When Shivaji Maharaj found out about Jai Singh, he wrote him a letter trying to convince him to switch his loyalty. Shivaji Maharaj goes on great length to describe how it would pain him to fight against a fellow Hindu and warns Jai Singh about Mughal treachery. Jai Singh paid no heed to the letter, of course, but if he had, a joint Maratha-Rajput alliance would have altered the course of Bharat forever. Worse, Jai Singh would actually fall victim to the treachery himself later on. He would be poisoned by Aurangzeb. In the entire career of Shivaji Maharaj, Jai Singh would be the only person to challenge him militarily. The reason was simple. Unlike previous generals who had been made to fight on Shivaji Maharaj's terms, he would threaten the very foundation of his growing empire. In order to do so, he would concentrate on the mountain forts that formed the defensive chain around his homeland. He began his attack by focusing on the mighty Purandar fort, once again seeing a key event in Maratha history. Shivaji Maharaj tried his best to lure him away from there by attacking and looting various port cities, but Jai Singh ignored him. The fort was defended heroically, so heroically in fact that Jai Singh had to personally go and politely ask the Marathas to lay down arms and surrender. He even presented those Maratha warriors with robes of honor. As soon as he was certain that Purandar was fall, he concentrated on Shivaji's capital fort of Raigad. Shivaji Maharaj was truly alarmed. He saw that Jai Singh intended to hold his family hostage to force Shivaji Maharaj on the negotiating table. Shivaji Maharaj finally did come to the negotiating table by accepting a meeting with Jai Singh. The meeting was unlike previous meetings since Jai Singh was a Rajput and deception was foreign to him. He honored Shivaji and expressed his deep admiration. He offered him a peace treaty. Shivaji Maharaj would have to surrender 23 of his forts in exchange for lifting the siege on Raigad. Despite these harsh terms, Jai Singh offered to put in a good word before Aurangzeb and ensure a great reception in Agra upon his visit. Shivaji agreed to the treaty. He realized that in due time, Mughals would falter and his chance would come. For now, he would ensure the safety of his subjects and family. Jai Singh lobbied with Aurangzeb to make Shivaji a loyal general of the empire. He asked Shivaji Maharaj to write a letter to Aurangzeb for his rash behavior, and Shivaji Maharaj did so by swallowing his pride. Aurangzeb finally sent a message asking Shivaji Maharaj to be in Agra physically sometime around his birthday to receive his blessings in person. One may wonder as to why Shivaji Maharaj agreed to the humiliating terms and surrendering the forts he had won by hard fighting. We must see this from Shivaji Maharaj's viewpoint. He was young and he knew that Jai Singh could not remain in Deccan forever. This was because Aurangzeb was famously paranoid about people assuming power for themselves. Shivaji Maharaj calculated that he can weather this storm by simply pretending to submit for the time being. Despite the letter from Aurangzeb, the finely tuned instincts of Shivaji Maharaj told him that it was a trap. However, letters from Jai Singh promising him of great reception and safe passage, along with his mother Jijabai's nod, finally overcame his reluctance. In April 1666, he started for Agra with his young son Sambhaji. Shivaji Maharaj entered Agra in May 1666. He saluted Aurangzeb, unbowing and still proud. Aurangzeb in turn made him stand behind lesser nobility in court. One of the people standing there was Jaswant Singh, a man who Shivaji Maharaj had defeated in the Deccan. Up until now, Shivaji Maharaj had been bearing insults with a brave face, but this insult finally broke through his emotional armor. He is said to have stormed out of the court, shouting that he would never appear in person again. Despite Jai Singh's son Ram Singh's pleas, Shivaji left the Agra fort in extreme rage. Later that evening, Mughal guards surrounded Ram Singh's palace. They read out the order that Shivaji and Sambhaji had been made prisoner owing to the disrespect shown by Shivaji Maharaj to the emperor. It was then Shivaji Maharaj realized that the trap was to get him to the court and make sure that he would be insulted. If he attempted to escape, he would be shot, and the official news would be that Shivaji Maharaj was shot while escaping. This news would definitely lower the morale of Marathas and effectively prevent a strong resistance from being mounted again, because you have shown the leader of Marathas to be a coward. I can only imagine the frustration that Shivaji Maharaj must be feeling at this point. He had taken bold risks, fearlessly charged in many battles, killed several enemies only to be imprisoned by deception. It must have felt that his entire vision is falling apart. However, Shivaji Maharaj is one of those rare men in Bharatiya history who have never given up in the face of adversity. He did not sit down and start blaming goddess Bhavani for the misfortune that had come his way, nor did he blame anyone else. Instead, being a man of action, he realized that Aurangzeb was waiting for him to make a move. He decided to oppose cunning with cunning and began planning an escape plan that was both innovative in thought and extremely cunning in execution. Sometime after his capture, the guards noticed how cheerful Shivaji Maharaj had become. He would tell his guards that he was happy to be removed from the burdens of managing a state. He sent away most of his soldiers and even asked the emperor if his wife and mother could come to Agra to stay with him. This finally made Aurangzeb relax, since no person thinking of escaping would offer his women as a hostage. Sometime later, Shivaji Maharaj started exchanging food with other courtiers. These baskets of food were carried by porters and checked by the chief guard and his assistants very thoroughly. In August, Shivaji Maharaj fell ill due to eating the rich food of Agra. He ate very small meals, so his stomach was not used to it. The habit of exchanging food continued, and checking became less thorough. Then, as he got better, he asked for baskets of sweetmeats to be sent to the courtiers. This time, the inspector did not bother to check the baskets. Of course, the porters were Maratha soldiers, and as soon as they were clear of the palace, they set down the baskets, and out came Shivaji Maharaj and Sambhaji. But who would take the place of Shivaji in the room? It was a loyal Maratha soldier named Hira. He wore Shivaji's bracelet and the signet ring, and he laid down on the bed, covering himself with a blanket that Shivaji Maharaj had been covering himself with. The guards did not suspect a single thing. Shivaji Maharaj was now free, but he still was in enemy territory. He began planning the next stage of escape with the dual aim of reaching Raigad safely and keeping Sambhaji safe from Mughals at the same time. In this episode, we saw the beginnings of Maratha Empire were not that easy. Through the actions of Shivaji Maharaj, we saw that shaping a dream into reality requires boldness, relentless action, and an extreme capacity for hard work. We noticed how much loyalty Shivaji Maharaj was able to inspire in people, so much so they happily laid down their lives in defense of the grand vision of Hindavi Swaraj. In my opinion, this is a crucial quality lacking in leaders of our time. We also saw that setbacks are inevitable in any great endeavor. What separates the extraordinary from the ordinary is how they respond to the challenge of the time and still manage to carve out their path without depending on luck or destiny. In the next episode, we will witness how Shivaji Maharaj escaped from the Mughal territories and continued on his path to become Chhattrapati. Till then, stay hungry, stay foolish. Goodbye.